My name's Mandy from Mandy Sorts It Out, and today I'm going to show you a few videos and have a talk to you about vitamin D. Anyway, I've got a video of shopping that I did on my trip to take my friend back to Wales. I drove her back to Wales on one day. It's a 3-hour drive to where she lives. So we decided to break it up, and when we were looking at the route, we realised it went fairly close to IKEA in Birmingham. So we decided to stop there and have a look round. And I had no intention of buying anything, but I did buy things. But everything I bought was things I've either been looking for or thinking about getting, and they were at good prices. So it wasn't entirely bad. It's just I wasn't planning to buy those things on that day. We also stopped for a coffee later on, and then we got to my friend's house. We had a main meal at IKEA so that we didn't have to worry about cooking a main meal when we got to my friend's, because she hadn't been there in a few days. So obviously she hadn't got fresh produce in and things like that. So that was on the trip there. And on the trip back, I knew that I was a little bit tired, and I thought I'll plan in some stops for myself as well. So I planned to stop at a Tesco after about an hour, and I thought I'd pick up a sandwich there because I knew I wasn't going to have lunch with my friend. I was having breakfast with my friend, and I thought I'd pick up a sandwich at this Tesco. And then I planned an Asda shop about another hour in on the journey, and that was shortly before I entered the M6. So I thought, well, I'll get a coffee from there, and that will give me some energy for the M6 driving, because I drink decaffeinated coffee all the time at home. And if I have a coffee with caffeine in it, it really hits me. It's really zingy. It's very bad for my reflux, so I don't have them that often. But at times, it's just magical to know that I can dramatically increase my energy levels just by having a coffee. And I didn't have any plan to stop again. The idea was that I would fill the car with petrol at the Asda, which I forgot to do. So I think it's because the Asda petrol station wasn't on the way out. It was kind of further round back where I'd parked. And I got in the car and I was thinking about the rest of my journey, and I just completely missed the fact that I needed to stop at a petrol station. Anyway, as I was nearly home, as I was driving through the nearest town to me, I realised that I was almost out of petrol. So I stopped at the Tesco and filled up there. And I thought, well, I need some indigestion tablets, so I'll just pop in and get some indigestion tablets. And I have to say, at every time I shopped, I got additional things. I didn't just get the thing I walked in to get every time I shopped. So I feel a bit bad about that. I can't seem to go into a shop and just buy one thing. But at the same time, the things I bought were things that I will use, the things I need. I might not need them now, but they're things that will be useful later on. So I'm 50-50 on it. Am I sad about it? Well, it's done. It's done now, and I've spent the money. And yeah, I have to live with it now. So that's the first video. The second video is that I bought cream in for my friend because she'd said if she had coffee, she'd like cream in it, and I bought cream. But as it was, she drank tea when she was here. So the cream didn't get used. And I thought, I'm not really going to use it. There's nothing I particularly want to use cream with. I'm not somebody that has a lot of cream, and I didn't want to do something like buy the thing in that I would use cream with and then use the cream with it. Like if I ate a crumble, for example, I would have cream with it. But I didn't want to do that because, well, that seemed extra money and also extra food when I've already eaten quite well with my friend over, and weight is an issue. I am trying to lose weight. The plan was to come back and return to healthy eating, so I didn't really want to get a crumble. So what I decided to do was to make butter, because I've seen other people do it and I thought it didn't seem that difficult. So that's what I did. So that's the second video. And then there is a short video after that about me talking about vitamin D. I will timestamp them as usual, so if you want to skip any parts, just check where you want to go on the line, or go into the description and they're all listed there, and you can just click on the one you want to go to. Okay, so here's the first video, which is the shopping. Hi, I'm just back from Wales. I took my friend back to Wales, spent the night there, drove back today. Bit of confusion because one of her clocks was running really slow and we didn't realise. So we thought it was about 11 o'clock and it was 1. But anyway, I'm home now and I thought I'd go through with you what I bought on the way to Wales and on the way back from Wales. Because on the way to Wales we stopped at IKEA, and on the way back from Wales I stopped at 3 supermarkets. So the IKEA shop. I bought this storage bag. I don't know exactly what it's for. There wasn't anything on the shelf. Actually, does it say anything here? My friend said to me she thought this was a storage bag for rolls of wrapping paper. But what I want to use it for is to store my quilt under the bed. I have a quilt currently in here. Now that is my 10.5 tog quilt in there. I'm thinking of putting my 2 tog quilt in there. At the moment it hasn't got a bag. There is a bag for this one, so I should put that one back in the bag that I bought it in. I've lost one of the bags somehow along the way and I don't know how. So I've got a 7 tog quilt which has got a bag. I've got a 4 tog quilt which has got a bag, but the 2 tog quilt hasn't. So I'm thinking it should fit in there and it should fit under the bed, because I don't think it'll fill it. It'll be still very squashy. Then I bought these bits. This is the inner for a cushion, 50 by 50. I've got a friend bought me a cushion with a lovely cover of a hare. I'm very fond of hares. They're all over my place. And the pillow inside got extremely thin. I'll show you what I did with it. I turned it into a circular cushion that I sit on. It became far too thin to have in the cushion cover, but when I pummeled it a bit, it made a nice round shape. So I crocheted a cover for it, and there it is. Here's the cushion cover. I'm very fond of it, and it'll be great to have a cushion in it again. The cushion pad was £4.40. Then I bought a LED spotlight, battery operated. That was £4. And I'll show you what I'm going to use that for. That's my front door there. And there's my light switch. As you can imagine, when I come in when it's dark, I have to stumble about in the dark to get to my light switch. Apologies for the mess in the hall, by the way. It's I've only just got back from dropping my friend. Right, these stirring spoons, wooden stirring spoons, are 50p each. And I really like using them. I only got those because I was having a problem with wooden spoons. I bought 2 wooden spoons and both of them split. And of course food can get in the split and you can't really clean it. So I had to, well, I returned one to IKEA. So these 2, very handy. I've already got 2, but I've used them such a lot, I think that I probably need some fresh ones. Dishwashing brushes. I think the IKEA ones are fantastic. These have got a sucker on the bottom so you can actually stand them up. This one's been going, must be over a year, and it hasn't bent. And I don't need one yet, but when I do need one, because the IKEA is an hour's drive away, I don't want to have to drive to IKEA just for a washing up brush, and it won't save any money if I do that. So I'll just put it in the cupboard for when I do need one. So that's what I bought from IKEA. That cost me £12.50. Then on the way back I stopped at a Tesco and went to the loo, and I also bought some things I needed. I bought some menthol lozenges, which are in the car, so I can't show you them, but the Jakeman's Cherry, they were £1.60. I bought a brie and cranberry sandwich. I love brie and cranberry or brie and grape sandwiches, but you only see them around Christmas. So I had one of those. That was £3, quite indulgent, absolutely delicious. Loved every bite of it, worth every penny. Then I fancied some chocolate, so I bought a 4-pack of picnic bars. That was £2.25, and I definitely needed some bleach, 2 litres of bleach, £1.19. Then I went to Asda. Again, this was about an hour and 10 minutes on. I planned to stop at this Asda, get myself a coffee before I hit the M6. And I was planning to fill the car up with petrol as well. But I totally forgot to fill the car up with petrol, which thankfully I didn't even realise, because I hit tailbacks on the M6. And had I realised how low on petrol I was, I would have been having absolute fits, panics, because it was just crawling along. But I didn't realise until I practically got home and saw that I was nearly empty. So I swung into Tesco and filled up there. I bought some of these Ella's Kitchen Crunchy Veg Waves, barbecue flavour, 5 bags. Of course, these are for kids. So the salt is really good, 1.1 kilogram of salt per 100 kilograms. So that's, actually, that's not good at all. I'm not suitable under 36 months old. That's because of the salt. Now, I checked that, and for some reason thought 1.1 kilogram was good. To be low salt, it needs to be under 0.3 kilogram. Well, I shan't waste them, but I'll have to think what I do with them. I could eat them when I'm eating a very low salt meal, or I could put them in for a food bank. They were £2.74, which I thought, seeing as there was 5 packets, was fairly good, because that was like 50-something pence each. I'm not happy with that choice now, though. I bought my coffee. It's funny, I saw these for people who just sort of walk in the door, buy something and go. You know, there's a little shop by customer services, and they've got some of these, and they were £2 something. But when I went into the main body of the supermarket, it was £1.16. Then I bought an exceptional tart and sweet cherry and chocolate panettone. That is not low salt either. That will be for around Christmas, for a very special occasion. Again, I'll be planning a low salt meal to have that after. Panettone doesn't seem to be low in salt, which is very, very sad, because I love panettone. But then it is a yeast product, and I believe when you're making a yeast product, you have to have salt. I bought a red pepper for 65 pence, a cucumber for 89 pence, and this is, I think, 2 kilos of potatoes. Yep, 2 kilos of potatoes. Baking potatoes for £1.78. And then, as I got home, like I said, I realised my car was nearly empty of petrol, so I swung into the Tesco, and while I was in there, I thought I'd look at the reduced. There wasn't anything I needed in reduced, but I knew I was getting very low on indigestion tablets. I shouldn't be taking these, but when I was out, I didn't have access to the ones I take at home. I really need to put some of them in the medical pouch. I have a little zip up purse. I keep a few tablets in, and I have indigestion tablets in there, and I hadn't got the prescription tablets in there, so that's a lesson learned. I will put some in tonight, but I'm just going to get some of these as well, because if I have some of these in the car, then in an emergency I've got something, even if it's not the best thing. I love the fact that indigestion tablets are usually mint, because mint is a known trigger for reflux. So you would think they wouldn't be mint, but they are. Anyway, spearmint rennie, they were £2.75. I got some plasters because I've only got one left. That's £1.25. I brought a torch because I'm not allowed to light any candles in my flat, and I said to my friend, I'm sure I'd be allowed if there was a power cut. And she said, oh, maybe not. Your landlord might be expecting you to have a torch. And I thought, oh, that's true. So I saw that torch and thought, well, I'll get that. That is £2.75. Then I needed some more oat milk. We nearly finished it, my friend and I, while she was staying with me. That was reduced to £1.50, and some cheap porridge oats. I prefer the oldie cheap porridge oats, but I'm not at Aldi. I was at Tesco and I needed them, so I got those. They were 85p. And then the grapes. Suntrail Farm grapes, which are £1.37. These look like decent sized ones because some of them have been absolutely minute, but these look good. And red grapes are better for kidneys than white grapes, apparently. That's why I try and get the red grapes when I can. My friend didn't drink the cream rather, didn't have any coffee while she was staying with me. So I still have that pot of cream, and I'm not going to use it as cream, so I'm going to try and make butter from it. I've only got a stick blender, so let's see how we go. Well, it's very suddenly turned into whipped cream, and I believe I keep going, but it's almost impossible to do anything with it. It's so thick. It's getting more and more liquid now, and I've just read how to do this. I should have perhaps read that before I started. And it says just add some water and keep blending, and the buttermilk will get sort of washed. It'll wash the butter. I don't have to take it out of the jar or anything. I just keep blending with a bit of added water when I think it's turned into butter. Well, I've got a lot of washing up to do, and I think it's going to use a lot of detergent, but I've got some butter. I was diagnosed with vitamin D deficiency last year, and I ended up doing a deep dive into vitamin D. And it was a bit of a shock when I was diagnosed. I had a lot of fatigue, but at the point that I went to the doctors and had the blood test, I was taking vitamin D tablets because I knew you should take them over the winter. And I think it was maybe April when I went to the doctors. So I was taking vitamin D tablets, not every day, but every now and again, so several times a week. And I used to buy them at Tesco, and they were little white tablets, and it was just vitamin D in the jar. I was prescribed mega doses of vitamin D to get my levels up, and my levels did get up really quickly. So that was really good. But I was really surprised that I had become deficient in vitamin D whilst taking vitamin D tablets. So I did a bit of a deep dive and found out a few things about it. Not everybody knows that everyone's recommended to take vitamin D supplements over the winter. NHS advice is that you take 10 micrograms a day, which is 400 international units, between the end of September and late March, early April time. It's also in some food. You can get vitamin D in oily fish, red meat, egg yolk, liver, and fortified food. Now, if you're eating fortified food to get your vitamin D, you're taking supplements, because effectively it's supplements that have been added to the food, and it's often in cereals and things like that. I don't eat cereals, so I don't get anything that way. These are now the sort of things I take. They're not tablets. They are soft gel capsules. And these are the same, more or less, as the ones that I was prescribed by the doctor. Oh yes, there you go. Soft gel capsules. They're full of oil. They used to just recommend that people over 50 had vitamin D supplementation, and now they recommend everybody has it. I don't know if that's something to do with the changing climate, or if the science, and the looking into the science, has just progressed to the stage where they've realised that people just don't get enough sun that time of year, whatever age they are, or maybe they're seeing more deficiencies in the NHS. I'm just not sure.
but it is something to be aware of, that might help you out. Thank you for watching all the way to the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.